Today, we're stepping away from fiction. We're moving into the cold reality of three deeply unsettling true accounts. This is a deep dive not into ghosts or monsters, but into what is maybe the most frightening thing of all. Other people.
Exactly. We're looking at stories of invasion of stalking.
We have 3 stories where privacy is violated and simple environments, a campsite, a beach house, even your own home, become places of absolute terror.
And we'll trace how that happens, how a simple sound or a shadow can completely shatter your sense of safety.
Okay, so our first story takes us to the high country of Colorado, Urao Forest. It's about 2 cousins, Cody and the narrator. They're in their early 20s and they've gone camping midweek.
Specifically to be alone.
Exactly, to avoid the crowds. And Cody, he's an Eagle Scout, you know, the experienced one.
Yeah.
He always told the narrator that the thing you really have to worry about out there isn't bears, it's people.
A bit of foreshadowing.
A lot of it. So they find this perfect clearing, pitch their tents, and the narrator says they had a really good vibe. You can picture it, right? Classic rock on a little speaker, steaks and burgers on the fire. They've got a folding table out to play Uno.
They feel completely safe, completely isolated.
And that feeling is just about to break. Mid-game, over the music, they hear it. A low, distinct humming coming from the pitch-black woods just outside the firelight.
And not just humming.
No. With it, the unmistakable sound of someone walking. Slow, deliberate footsteps.
So they immediately pause the music.
Instantly. They just freeze. And as soon as they do, the sounds fade. They're just gone. Swallowed by the silence before they can even grab a flashlight.
And that's the first sign of conscious human presence, where it absolutely shouldn't be. The shift from relaxation to high alert is immediate.
They try to, brush it off, maybe a lost hiker, but the tension is there.
The creepy part is the sound stopping when their music did.
Yeah.
It implies the person out there is listening to them. They're not lost, they're observing.
And then it escalates. It goes from just unnerving to aggressive. A few minutes later, a large, thick stick is just hurled out of the darkness.
Not like a branch falling.
No, thrown. It lands with this sickening thud right in the center of their campsite. It's a message.
I see you. I can reach you.
Cody just snaps. He starts screaming into the woods, telling the person to get a life and shove off, and they hear footsteps retreating again.
So this isn't a prank anymore. This is targeted intimidation.
Absolutely. And now they have this choice. It's the middle of the night. They're deep in the woods. Do they pack up and run into the darkness where this person is waiting?
Or do they stay put?
They decide to stay. They agree to take shifts guarding the camp, keeping bear spray right next to them. Just imagine trying to sleep, knowing someone is out there, just beyond the firelight, watching. The narrator eventually gets into his tent, totally exhausted, and he drifts off. He wakes up much later. He's groggy, disoriented, and he feels a presence.
The feeling we all dread.
He looks up, and there, silhouetted against the mesh of his tent, is a head. Someone is peering in at him. And in that half-asleep state, his first thought is, it's Cody. Waking him for his turn on watch, he just murmurs, "Is it my turn?"
And what's the response?
Silence. Before he can even focus on the face, the zipper on his tent is just zipped down, pulled shut, and the head is gone.
Wow.
He shoots upright, heart just pounding, and he hears footsteps crunching away one last time. He scrambles out of his tent, runs to Cody's, and finds Cody fast asleep.
Oh, no.
It wasn't his cousin.
The sheer intent of that, to be chased off and then to come back and just look, to stand over a sleeping person, it's a complete violation.
They huddled in Cody's tent for what the narrator called 3 long, horrible hours. At one point, he had to run to his tent to grab his sleeping bag, and he heard it again.
The humming.
That low humming circling the camp. They waited for the first light of dawn, packed up in a panic, and they just fled. He says he hasn't been camping since.
All right, for our next story, we're shifting from that cold forest to the humid, open vulnerability of the Florida coast.
A completely different environment, but a similar kind of isolation.
Right. It's 4 friends. They've rented a modest house right on the beach, and the houses are all spaced out, so you have this sense of privacy. The first strange thing happens late one night. So after midnight, they had been out. They're just tossing football around on the shore. And the narrator runs toward the water to get the ball, and he sees someone.
In the water.
In the water, about waist deep, just standing there. The only reason he can see them is the moonlight reflecting off the surface. They just kind of write it off, a local going for a late swim.
It's strange, but not quite a threat. Not yet. The distance of the water creates a buffer. But it progresses. Later, two of the friends go to bed. It's just the narrator and his friend John on the back deck talking, and they notice someone standing on the beach itself, about 40 yards away, facing them.
And just standing there.
Completely motionless. John points it out, says, hey, that guy hasn't moved at all. So they yell out, hey, can we help you?
Yeah.
Nothing. No reply, no wave, just staring. So they get unnerved, go inside, and lock the door.
And you see the predatory progression here. From the water to the shore, closing the distance. The silence is a tactic. It forces you to fill that void with your own fear.
The real shock comes a few moments later. The narrator goes to his bedroom, which has this big window with a view of the beach. He pulls back the curtain just to check one last time. And the figure, he can now see it's a male frame, isn't 40 yards away anymore. He's standing right in front of the back deck railing.
Right there.
Right there, facing the house. And the narrator is certain he's looking right into his window. He grabs John, pulls him into the room, but by the time they both look back out, the guy's gone. Vanished. So the narrator, shaken, closes the blinds tight and gets into bed. He's just lying there in the quiet, his mind racing. And then the silence is just shattered. He describes it as the sickening sound of a fist knocking sharply on the bedroom window.
On the glass.
Right on the glass next to his head. A loud, hard knock. Then a pause, and then a second, lighter knock.
That's the ultimate breach. It's no longer a visual threat, it's physical contact. He knows exactly which room the narrator is in.
Panic just explodes. They turn on every light in the house, check the front, the back, nothing. The property is empty. So the next day, they talk to the nearest neighbor, just desperate for an explanation.
And this is where the story gets even more chilling.
Yeah. The neighbor tells them that a week before, the same thing happened to them. Someone knocking on their door over and over in the middle of the night.
And wouldn't answer when they called out?
Just kept knocking. This wasn't random. It's a pattern. A local menace who gets a thrill from this kind of psychological terror.
It confirms a consistent, deliberate campaign of intimidation in that area.
And it leaves you with that one haunting question that the narrator still thinks about in that split second after the knock. What would he have seen if he had been brave enough, or maybe foolish enough, to pull up the blind? For our final account, we move inside, into what should be the safest place there is, a suburban home.
And this one is particularly disturbing. It's about the terror of a 9-year-old boy. His name is James.
His mother had just left him home alone for a little while, a quick run to the grocery store.
Something so many families do every day.
The house phone rings, and James checks the caller ID, like he's supposed to. It says it's his mom's cell. He picks up, and a woman's voice says she's in the driveway and asks him to come help with the groceries.
A classic lure, a simple, normal request.
But James knows immediately something is wrong. The voice is just off. When he hesitates, the woman says, like, what, sweetie? And then uses the word sweetie again.
And it's unnatural, strained.
Exactly. Even at 9, he can tell. The rhythm, the pattern, it's not his mom. It's an imitation.
That instinct is so crucial.
He hangs up the phone. Just an incredible presence of mind for a kid. A minute later, the phone rings again. Same number. He ignores it. Then it rings a third time.
Different number.
A different unknown number. He picks it up. And a man's voice says, hey, James, I know this is going to sound weird, but it's your dad. I'm outside.
And that's the confirmation of how truly malicious this is.
Because James's father died when he was 3.
They're weaponizing his personal tragedy.
He hangs up, knows he's in real danger. He can't even call his mom because they obviously have her phone.
The sophistication here is frightening. They have her device, so they can spoof her number, and they have enough personal data to use his father's death against him.
And the threat immediately becomes physical, knocks at the front door. It's the man's muffled voice repeating that same lie. It's your dad. Then he starts trying the handle, shaking the door, trying to force his way in.
Just terrifying.
James, showing this unbelievable courage, grabs the phone and calls 911. He stays on the line with the operator, who tells him to lock himself in the first floor bathroom. And while he's on the phone with 911, he can hear them.
Plural.
Them. They move from the front door and they start going around the house, trying every single window and every door.
A systematic search for any weakness.
The 911 operator can hear it on the line. The sound of handles rattling, windows being pushed on. If just one lock had failed, this story would have a very different ending.
And the fact that there was a man's voice and a woman's voice confirms this was a coordinated attack by 2 people.
We find out later that his mother's stolen phone was an old Nokia flip phone. The background photo was her with James and his little sister.
And that's all they needed. That one photo told them she was likely a single mother with young kids. It was enough information to build this entire horrible plan.
The police arrived quickly. The sirens scared them off and they were gone before they could be caught. His mom gets home to find police cars surrounding her house. Just a complete violation of trust, of security. It changed everything for that family. So, we've walked through 3 scenarios of just profound terror today.
Yeah.
The unseen stalker in the woods who used silence and then the shock of peering into a tent. The escalating intruder at the beach house, holding that silent vigil before knocking on the glass.
And then the couple who used stolen information and the death of a parent to try and lure a 9-year-old child from his home.
All of these accounts remind us that the true source of fear isn't always something unknown. Often, it's the very determined, very malicious intent of other people.
Whether you're in the wilderness or behind your own locked doors, the terror is in that conscious decision someone makes to violate your space, to exploit your vulnerability.
So we'll leave you with a final thought to mull over. In this age of, constant digital exposure, if a stolen flip phone with just a single background picture could give criminals enough data for such a targeted attack, what are we all unintentionally revealing about our lives every single day to threats that are far more sophisticated?
Sobering question.
We hope this deep dive gave you some things to consider. This session was brought to you by the team at Horror Docs. If you found this discussion chilling and insightful, we really encourage you to subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs. That way you won't miss any of our deep dives into these true stories that, send a shiver down your spine. We thank you for listening, and until next time, stay safe.